Shut up. I know I always say I'm going to be consistent, and then I'm not. Shut up. No one asked. Shut up. Shut up. You know what's more important to me than my own existence? Movies. You guessed it. Today I want to talk about Amsterdam, which is a new movie by David O. Russell that I did not like. This movie just really didn't work for me. So I just called Amsterdam a new movie because I filmed this back in October of 2022. It's now January of 2023. I got nothing. Pretend it's a new movie, I guess. Which is why I also want to talk about No Sudden Move, which is a movie from 2020 by Steven Soderbergh that I did really like, and I think works with a lot of the same themes and like structures as Amsterdam, but does it way better. So I kind of want to do a little compare and contrast here, not to get too academic on you. I was excited to go see Amsterdam. It has a lot of really incredible actors in it, namely Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, the main three. And I thought it had a pretty fun-looking trailer. You know, I love a good ensemble movie, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of famous people just getting to cook for different sections of the movie. And man, was this movie just disappointing. No Sudden Move, on the other hand, I had really no expectations for it, something I fired up on HBO Max a while back, and it just completely blew me out of the water. I had such a good time with it, and it did exactly what I was looking for in Amsterdam, in that ensemble movie, a lot of really talented people in it, just doing their jobs well, not trying to do too much, not trying to do too little, serving the story. And when it's their time to cook, they get to cook. Later in the video, I'll talk about who it is and why it works, but you have an A-list actor coming in for 10 minutes of this movie in a late-stage J.R. Smith-like performance, just putting up threes while he's in there, and he just kills it. He fucking carries the movie for 10 minutes, and it's awesome. So let's just go ahead and dive into why I think No Sudden Move works so much better than Amsterdam. The characters in this fucking movie are so boring. It's honestly a crime that in a movie with this many talented people, I mean, this cast is so stacked, none of the characters had any depth. If you've seen the trailer for Amsterdam, you know that Christian Bale plays a doctor, John David Washington plays a lawyer, and Margot Robbie plays a nurse. And they're all friends. And they all meet at war, and they're friends. And that's about as far as they fucking go with these characters, man. I listened to an interview with the writer-director of this film, and he talked about how they've been working on it for over 6 years, and it was a very collaborative process with the actors to put together this script. And a part of me wonders if they kind of got caught in the trap of they've been working on it for so long that they felt they knew the characters so well that they didn't put any of it on the page. Because I'm telling you, there is nothing on the page. The characters are just so one-noted. Like, I genuinely right now can't remember any of their names. I saw the movie 2 weeks ago. I could not tell you a single character in this movie's name. I think the characters do have some good moments, but I have to attribute that to the insane level of talent in this movie. Like, there's so many incredibly charismatic people. I mean, you have Anya Taylor-Joy, Rami Malek, Robert De Niro, one of the greatest of all time, all playing supporting roles, and they deliver some charisma because they're incredibly charismatic people, but never once do any of these characters feel like real people. And I honestly feel that the number one culprit of this was John David Washington's character, the lawyer.
Columbia Law School.
Again, I have no clue what his name was. Quick sidebar, I really think John David Washington might be the most criminally underused actor in Hollywood today. When BlacKkKlansman came out, when I tell you I was so sure that this dude was absolutely minted and that he was going to be like one of the stars of the next 10 years. And like, he was cool in Tenet, but can we write this man some better parts? This guy is so clearly a star. Now on the flip side, the characters in No Sudden Move feel so real. They're absolutely written into archetypes that we know and understand, but they have so much more depth. When we meet Kurt, who's played by the incredible Don Cheadle, who's effectively the protagonist, we don't know a lot about him. We just know that he just got out of jail. But the script continually gives us little nuggets of information about his past, about his connections to other characters, but not so much that all is revealed. No Sudden Move constantly keeps you wanting to know more about its characters.
Okay, I kind of stumbled through this next point, but I think it's like 72% still a good thought, so just bear with me, all right?
You know, en medias res is a term that a lot of us learn in English class. It's Latin for in the midst of things. And it's something I really, really love about No Sudden Move. It feels as though these characters and their stories lived on before this. And if they survive the story, then they will live on after. We've caught them right in the middle of their imperfect lives, and we'll never know all about them. And that's, that's real life. You'll never know everything about a person. You just can't. And you're constantly catching people right in the middle of their iceberg of imperfection. And I think that quality is what makes them feel so real. And I think that quality, that realistic feeling, is something that Amsterdam severely lacks. I know I'm a dialogue snob. Like, I want to be a screenwriter. It's what I want to do with my life. But what the fuck was the dialogue in this movie, man? It was just so painfully expository. Like, I can fucking see what's happening on the screen. You don't need to tell me every 2 seconds. I promise. So much of the time, it just felt like the characters were re-explaining what we were seeing with our own eyes. And that's just so confusing to me because I dropped out of film school after, like, literally a semester. The first thing you learn is show, don't tell. Like, the very first thing. Like, how did they not have this? Around the same time I saw Amsterdam, I went and saw the re-release of Avatar, and it got me thinking about the idea of, like, broad versus specific dialogue. And Avatar's dialogue is very broad. It's very easy to understand. It makes sense why it was a global hit because it's a very simple story when you really break it down, and it could easily be translated across any number of languages because it's a broad story attempting to reach a broad audience and succeeding to reach a broad audience. And Amsterdam's dialogue is written in a similarly broad way, but that doesn't make any fucking sense because it's a specific story. This is an R-rated dramedy about the rise of fascism post-World War I. Your audience is not broad. This is a specific movie that's, like, targeting a specific type of moviegoer. Why is this written like it's meant to be understood by a 3-year-old? Like, conversely, No Sudden Move understands the fuck out of its audience because this dialogue is smooth as a motherfucker. If Amsterdam's dialogue is expository, then No Sudden Moves is revelatory. This dialogue is so filled with intention and conflicting motives, conflicting information from different parties. It's just fantastic. I'm really interested in, like, speech styles, if that makes sense, and the different, like, words and phrases that people tend to use over and over.
Yeah, there's a word for that. It's called linguistics, you dumb fuck.
And when I think about No Sudden Move, I think of a diverse group of speech styles. It's a diverse cast of characters, and the dialogue and how that dialogue is delivered matches that perfectly. Don Cheadle has a very calm way of going about things, and most of the time his dialogue follows that. And then David Harbour is in a really rough situation and is kind of a nervous wreck for most of the time he's on screen in this movie. And the way they have him speak and the way he delivers that, I think it's fantastic. And it sticks in my brain in a way that literally not a single line or line delivery from Amsterdam has stuck with me at all. Another thing I love about No Sudden Move is that once it gets going, it never really slows down. Soderbergh is constantly introducing new characters, like I said before, ensemble movie, where people just get to come in and cook for a while. A lot of these characters have conflicting, often hidden motives, and the situation that puts you in is you have to wrap a lot up in a very short time. And let me tell you, they fucking pull that shit off. Throughout this film, we're getting little bits of information about what this overarching plot is. It ends up all being about the big car companies, the big four, I believe, are all plotting to basically hide information about a converter to the public to make more money. Big corporation hiding shit from the public to make money. What the fuck is new? What it all leads to is a set of double doors opening, and there stands Matt Damon. And holy fuck, I could go on forever about how perfect this cameo is. You have an A-list actor, like truly one of the most famous actors we have, getting 12 minutes to just cook like Steph Curry on a third quarter bender. And it's perfect because he plays this character, or really more of an idea that we should all hate, which is big money that always gets to win, because that's what capitalism does. It lets the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But he's an actor we all know and love, so he brings this asshole charisma to it that's just fantastic. It's also brilliant because it just functionally works in the story. He is basically allowed to stand there and just explain what has been happening and what is going to continue to happen, and we eat it up because he's just so damn charismatic. And the third way it's brilliant is that, unlike Amsterdam, he's not just explaining shit for the sake of explaining shit. He also serves as a distraction. There are all these other moving pieces that are about to converge on this room where this business deal is happening, and Matt Damon just gets to distract us while also explaining to us I just love it. It's so great. And even past the Damon scene, No Sudden Move just has really fulfilling character arcs. Don Cheadle gets what he stated he wanted literally at the beginning of the movie. Even though we're kind of tricked by the script into thinking he wants more, he got exactly what he wanted. The idiot gets killed. The rich stay rich. The police continue to be bootlickers. And the corporate loser stays a corporate loser. Sounds about right to me. Now, what doesn't sound right is the conclusion to Amsterdam. The conclusion of Amsterdam basically boils down to our lovable trio, with the addition of Robert De Niro, attempts to stop the plot of a bunch of big money investors interested in the rise of fascism because it's going to make them money. And when I say that this became painfully obvious, I do mean like getting cheated on your birthday. Kind of painful. It would we all knew exactly where it was going.
I feel like that was a lame example. What about like the monster from Barbarian ripping your limbs off painful? Is that better?
The reveal was just so anticlimactic. Normally, I wouldn't hold another film to the standard of Matt Damon shows up to be your big reveal and cook like fucking Gordon Ramsay for 10 minutes. But Amsterdam is loaded with talent. Like, clearly they had pull to get good people in this movie, and they just put none of it into the reveal. Even with the explanation at the end that the rich guys stayed rich and powerful because they always do, again, this movie just never felt realistic. And also, in terms of like themes and messaging, trigger warning here for sexual assault. If you don't want to hear about that, skip ahead. But the director of this movie, David O. Russell, has been accused by his niece of like heinous sexual assault. And so the like main message of his movie being love and friendship will prevail, I mean, just doesn't really ring true for me. But maybe that's just me. Who knows? In conclusion, maybe don't go see Amsterdam. I really don't even know if it's worth it. Was not a good movie in my opinion, but check out No Sudden Move. Really dope film in my personal opinion. Let me know what you think of it. Also, let me know if you like this style of video. I guess it's very nonchalant. What do you think, man? Yeah, no, for sure. Thanks for watching, guys.